Our first guest, as a matter of fact, to kick off the broadcast from Berlin this year, the Chief Operating Officer of Messe Berlin, the folks who actually bring this event to the world, is Dr. Christian Goke. Dr. Goke, welcome back into tomorrow. How are you?
I'm good, Dave. How are you?
Doing fine. It's actually, as we do this interview, beautiful weather here in Berlin. Had a little rain earlier, which was great. It cooled things off nicely.
Let's not mention it.
Yes, exactly. But it's a dynamite show. A lot of excitement here. The emotions are running high, as always. And, of course, IFA underway.
Yeah, right.
Right. So, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, that was a good start, good kickoff as every year.
And I know what's interesting is it's great to always have you on the show because we've seen a lot of the excitement here at IFA over the years. We've seen new products being introduced. We've seen big companies waiting, of course, for IFA to then talk about new products and new categories of products. And, of course, the inside scoop about IFA is really why we try to get you on the program because there's so much to this show. It is a huge consumer electronics show. Last year, you brought in appliances for the first time.
Right.
And this is allowing a lot of your exhibitors, who many of which have already had appliances in their lineup, but really couldn't display them, maybe to some degree, now really to open up that whole new world for us consumers and know that almost everything, even our toaster, has a computer chip in it now. So it's really consumer electronics anyway. Yeah.
It is, and it's always so fascinating to talk with you about IFA because you're doing all the summaries, you're doing all the strategic positioning, and I can completely relax. I'm sitting here listening to you, how you are explaining IFA, and actually sometimes I'm tempted to say, go and run the show.
No, I wouldn't take your job or your staff's job. You've got people that you pay well for that. No. But what have I left out then? What have I left out?
Well, I don't know. I'm kind of getting used to it, to sit here and to kick it off, and the pleasure is really mine. No, IFA is quite an old show. 85 years ago we started out, and we spoke about it last year that Albert Einstein was the one opening the show in 1926, and this show it's not a burden, but it's quite a task because you can't revolutionize every year this kind of concept, this kind of grown show. We are trying to fine-tune very carefully every year a little bit. Though over the last 2 or 3 editions, we truly went into some major changes, as you mentioned. The first one was to change from this biannual rhythm into the annual one.
Yeah, because for many years, since 1926,
basically from the very start, we had a biannual rhythm, and it simply didn't fit any longer with the technology rhythm in this industry, and so we had to go into an annual one. And as a matter of fact, it turned out that this strategic decision was excellent one, without being too arrogant and presumptuous. But I think
you know what? That's not presumptuous at all, because I think your exhibitors are the ones that said, thank you, Messe Berlin, because we need the opportunity every year.
Maybe a majority of our exhibitors said so, but that was quite a discussion before this final decision, because being the organization part of a show, you always have to try to find the greatest common denominator, and
it's a major task.
It's a major task because they literally they had to double their marketing budget for IFA, which was quite a challenge. And then, as you said, last year again a little revolution that we integrated the white goods, the home appliances, which turned out beautifully. We had great results last year, and the punchline is that this year in 2009 we are at a record level. And if you compare this with other trade shows and technology-driven shows around the world, without becoming too specific, you might see that this is quite the exception of the rule, and you have some very happy folks.
And of course, worldwide, there's the downturn in the economy that everybody's been dealing with for the past couple of years, and it's got to make your heart swell in a nice, positive manner to know that in spite of that, there are so many people saying we're showing great products.
It's quite a compliment for our show. I have to pay a major compliment to our staff, to our team with Jens Heiteke and Dirk Koslowski. They are doing a great job, and being able to organize such a show in these circumstances, in these recessive times, is quite an achievement.
And of course, the history of IFA, as you mentioned, since 1926, no other consumer electronics show can talk in terms of Albert Einstein being the first keynoter, and look at the legacy, the history over the years. It's truly amazing. And so many cool products being launched here this year as well. We're going to talk to many of your exhibitors this week and next on Into Tomorrow. There's a lot of excitement.
Do we have time for another statement here?
Another statement, yes.
Okay, so this statement is, this became, over the last 2 years, the worldwide premier show on a global basis. At no other show, in no other city are shown more new products during the show. Last year we had roughly 10,000 new product launches and some 500 really world premieres, and this year we are definitely topping these levels and these numbers, and so that is, for the time being, the core of our positioning.
And it makes perfect sense. So where do you go from here then? What can we expect into tomorrow for IFA?
Well, as I said in the very beginning, that's your job.
I see. Well, in fact, one of the sounds we're hearing in the background, I think, must be a blender. Another new appliance that we're
we might
hearing.
Integrate them.
We might, exactly. And what's interesting, too, you talk about white goods, and we've only got a couple of seconds here, but by the time you've introduced white goods into IFA, most of them aren't even white anymore, which is kind of an interesting way to look at how lifestyles have changed. People want more decision in their products, whatever they are.
No, when you integrate the white goods into your otherwise not white living environment, and that is the major trend from cocooning and how you are basically setting up your interior design, then obviously they can't stay any longer only white or white only. And so that is the trend, and therefore they aren't white any longer. But still the entire industry loves to be called white goods industry.
Sure.
Wouldn't you be called, or love to be called, the white guy from the West Coast?
Well, I don't know. It could be taken many different ways. So we'll have to see. Christian, as always, thank you for helping us kick off our broadcast.
The pleasure was all mine.
And we will now make way for your exhibitors here in Berlin to talk to as many of them as we possibly can get into the next 2 weeks' worth of shows.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir. We're back with more from Berlin. I'm Dave Graveline. This is Into Tomorrow on the Advanced Media Network.